city of Charlottesville, but in the Charlottesville area, to come together and take all of this into our hearts and our daily lives today, and to begin healing as a community. If we all come together, we cannot fall apart. We will be with you, and we will be beside you, as together we write the next chapter in Charlottesville's history. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Chief Al Thomas, Charlottesville Police Department. Good evening. The premeditated violence that our community experienced today was completely unacceptable. The situation escalated rapidly into violence, and we had no choice but to deploy additional personnel from the Virginia State Police, the Virginia National Guard, to help disperse the crowd and move people safely through the streets. None of the injuries sustained today were due to engagement with law enforcement. As of late this afternoon, there have been at least 35 people treated for injuries by city personnel. 14 people have been treated for injuries resulting from individual engagements. 9 pedestrians were treated for injuries in a 3-vehicle crash at the intersection of 4th Street and Water Street here in downtown Charlottesville. Their injuries range from life-threatening to minor. The crash also claimed the life of a 32-year-old female pedestrian at the intersection as she was crossing the street. We are still in the process of notifying her next of kin, so we will not be releasing her information until that takes place, as a courtesy to the family. The suspect vehicle that left the scene of the crash was located moments later, and the male driver is in custody with charges pending. We are currently treating this as a criminal homicide investigation. I also want to extend my appreciation to the many individuals who witnessed the crash for helping us by providing statements, photos, and video evidence. Again, the crash remains under investigation. So where do we go from here? For right now, we're encouraging people to return home. Please let our city of Charlottesville, our home, start to recover from this. What the world saw today is not the place Charlottesville is. We love our city. Let us heal. This is not our story. Outsiders do not tell our story. We will tell our own story. As is commonplace, we will be reviewing the events of the day over the next weeks and months. We are committed to providing our residents with a strong, safe city to live in and being partners in our community. Thank you.
Governor, we have they were killed after the alt-right moved
You've been listening to a live press conference down in Charlottesville after one person died when a car plowed into a crowd during clashes. We just heard the police chief update the numbers of people injured, 35 people injured in those clashes. He also said that a 32-year-old woman who was crossing the street was the one who died when cars rammed into the crowd. This is breaking news out of Charlottesville, where the mayor had said a tide of hatred, intolerance, and bigotry will not be tolerated. And Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe said, no uncertain terms, Nazis go home. That was our first breaking news story. Now more on that second breaking news story out of Charlottesville tonight, where Virginia State Police are on the scene of a helicopter crash. This is just west of the city, about a mile from the campus of UVA near the Birdwood Golf Course. 2 people died when the chopper went down around 5 this afternoon. No one on the ground was hurt. The NTSB is investigating. We'll bring you updates as we get them. Finally, one more breaking news story before we go. In Arlington, fire and police crews called to the AMC Theater and Courthouse for a report of violence. Our Amy O'Bear is live there on the scene. Amy, what can you tell us?
Well, Kimberly, we are just outside of that theater right now. I want you to take a look right over here. This is the scene that we're seeing right now. In the past, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes, a lot of those fire trucks have actually pulled out. The latest that we know, the Arlington County Fire Department tweeting out that 2 patients were taken to the hospital and that the scene out here is secure. Now, a lot of the information that we have is very preliminary. Earlier tonight, they tweeted out that they, along with Arlington police, were on scene out here at the AMC theaters. They were treating 2 victims. They also were saying that police were securing the building. Again, at this point, the building is secure. All we know is that 2 victims were taken to the hospital. For now, we're live in Arlington. Amy O'Bear, ABC 7 News.
You can count on ABC 7 crews to update you on these 3 major breaking news stories tonight at 11 o'clock. Right now, we're going to join World News Tonight in progress.
With pepper spray. The overnight violence spilling into this morning when marchgoers and counter-protesters clash again, hours before the Unite to Right march was even set to begin. Just after 10:30 a.m., the crowd growing in size. New reports of injuries coming in. Local and state police in riot gear responding in force, but the violence escalating. Fights erupting between marchgoers and counter-protesters. Just before noon, Virginia's governor declaring a state of emergency, saying, "I am disgusted by the hatred, bigotry, and violence these protesters have brought to our state." But the situation escalating. Now chaos on the streets of Charlottesville. Protesters beating one another with sticks and metal rods. Police once again using pepper spray, trying to push demonstrators back, urging the crowd to disperse.
Leave the immediate area or you will be arrested.
As soon as I went up there, they ripped my flag off, tried to grab it. 3 or 4 people started hitting me with some kind of sticks.
Just before 2 p.m., the situation taking that deadly turn. Many leaders condemning the event overnight. The mayor of Charlottesville calling it racist and intolerant. The University of Virginia president calling it abhorrent. Cecilia.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you. And we've just learned the victim in the car crash was a 32-year-old female pedestrian. The case is being treated as a criminal homicide investigation. There's also this breaking headline. Authorities confirming the deadly crash of a state police helicopter late today, 7 miles southwest of Charlottesville. 2 people on board were killed. No word on whether this chopper was in any way connected to the violence on the streets below. An investigation in that case is also underway tonight. President Trump tonight, caught in the fallout of all of this, criticized for waiting hours before making his first comments about that violence in Charlottesville. First Lady Melania Trump weighed in before the president did, and it's not what he finally said, but what he didn't say that has critics and supporters alike so upset. ABC's David Wright is traveling with the president in Bridgewater, New Jersey.
We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Today, the president finally did say the hate and division in Charlottesville has no place in America.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
But the president seemed to blame both the white nationalists and the counter-protesters equally. Many of the white nationalists who organized today's rally near a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee voted for Trump. Among them,
The communists attacked us.
former Klan leader David Duke. As these horrific scenes of hatred and violence played out, the first White House response came not from the president, but from the First Lady. "Our country encourages freedom of speech," she tweeted, "but let's communicate without hate in our hearts. No good comes from violence. #Charlottesville." President Trump waited another 40 minutes to weigh in himself, tweeting, "We all must be united and condemn all that hate stands for. There is no place for this kind of violence in America. Let's come together as one."
No matter our color, creed, religion, or political party, we are all Americans first.
The president's response took fire from all sides. The mayor of Charlottesville tweeted, "Thanks at long last for condemning hate in speech and action. Our work here is just beginning. Yours is too." Republican Senator Cory Gardner tweeted, "Mr. President, we must call evil by its name. These were white supremacists, and this was domestic terrorism." David Duke, not happy either. He tweeted at Trump, "I would recommend you take a good look in the mirror and remember it was white Americans who put you in the presidency, not radical leftists." Today, reporters sought to press the president further.
Mr. President, Mr. President, do you want the support of these white nationalist groups who say they support you, Mr. President?
Mr. President,
have you denounced them strongly enough?
A car plotting a group of people, would you call that terrorism, sir?
He ignored them.
President walking away from those questions there. David Wright joins us now. David, that statement from the president is drawing a lot of heat. The White House is now trying to clarify what he meant when he condemned violence, quote, on many sides.
And that's the phrase, Cecilia, that troubled a lot of people because it made the president's statement ambiguous. Many people heard it as him creating a moral equivalence between the white nationalists and the counter-protesters, blaming both. Well, tonight, the White House says the president was condemning hatred, bigotry, and violence from all sources and in all forms. Cecilia?
Okay, David, thank you. And tomorrow on This Week, George Stephanopoulos with the fallout in Charlottesville and, of course, his exclusive interview with Anthony Scaramucci, the White House communications director ousted after just 11 days on the job. And we do now want to turn to our other top story tonight, the growing showdown between the U.S. and North Korea. President Trump and Kim Jong-un trading threats of military action, each more severe than the last. After the president warned the U.S. was locked and loaded, North Korea responded with a threat of its own, promising tragic doom to America. Here's ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz.
Today, a new warning from Kim Jong-un's regime after nearly a week of threats on both sides. North Korean state media sending this message. If the Trump administration does not want the American empire to meet its tragic doom, they had better talk and act properly. The threat comes after North Korea earlier this week said it was crafting a plan to send 4 missiles to the waters off Guam. And its latest message clearly a response to President Trump's string of warnings, from his Friday tweet saying the U.S. military is locked and loaded to his latest.
And if anything happens to Guam, there's going to be big, big trouble in North Korea.
The governor of Guam urging calm to the 160,000 Americans who live there. Today he received a call from the president.
We are with you 1,000%.
The president even promising him a tourism boom.
You become extremely famous. Your tourism, you're going to go up in like 10-fold with the expenditure of no money, so I congratulate you.
Still, U.S. officials tell ABC News there is no high alert for U.S. forces here. They are always in a state of preparedness. But should conflict break out, it's the citizens here of South Korea who could pay the steepest price. There are also 14,000 tubes of artillery which could rain down on South Korea's capital of Seoul if they intended to do that, with over 26 million people caught in the crosshairs. The North so reclusive that these leaflets with messages are launched into North Korea from the South. Lee Min-bok says he defected to the South after reading one, and now delivers his own.
After reading the leaflet, I just knew that the North regime was all false, so I decided to flee to the South.
What do you think it's like for the people who are still in the North today?
I just have to say one word. It is slavery, mentally and physically.
What you can see from this observation point is really just propaganda. Across the river, North Korea, you can see some apartment buildings, some other structures, but if you look through those observation glasses, you can see they're all fake. Crucial to solving this crisis, China, North Korea's biggest trading partner. China urging restraint from both sides in a phone call between President Trump and President Xi last night. The world is used to fiery rhetoric from North Korea, but not from a U.S. president, made all the more serious this time because intelligence analysts believe that the North can now arm an ICBM with a nuclear warhead. Cecilia?
And that tension still escalating. Martha, thank you. And we have some sad news tonight out of Syria. 7 members of the White Helmets paramedic team were shot and killed today. Gunmen storming an office of their volunteer group, stealing 2 vans and some equipment. The first responders are dedicated to saving victims wounded in that civil war there. And back here at home now to the severe storm threat at this hour. Dangerous weather across the plains and in the Northeast tonight. New images coming in of a land spout in Key West kicking debris into the air. At this hour, there are alerts and watches from Virginia to right here in New York. And ABC's Rob Marciano is here tracking it all.
Hi, Cecilia. We have a big frontal system that's pushing across the east right now, and severe thunderstorm watches are up for the D.C., Baltimore area, Philadelphia, Scranton, up through Syracuse, and Albany, New York. Really, the capital district, be getting hit hard this afternoon.